Today you're going to learn how to set the bar correctly back in the rack at the end of the set and how to avoid the common mistakes many lifters make when they finish their sets. My name is Zohar Yirmiyahu. I'm a starting strength coach in Israel and head coach at Be Stronger Online Coaching. Let's start by understanding the risk of not finishing your sets correctly. Our goal in training is to get stronger each workout or each week. If we are doing something that might jeopardize the efficiency of this process, such as putting ourselves in an unnecessary risk of injury that will cause a layoff without training, we must address it immediately and make sure we reduce that risk to a minimum. There is this research which says that a high percentage of car accidents happen 5 minutes away from the end destination. One of the theories that try to explain it is that when the driver gets closer to the end of the drive, they start to think about what they need to do in their destination as if they are already arrived, not realizing that they're getting less and less focused on the task at hand, which is finishing their drive safely. This is a very relevant lesson in our case when we lift weights. We put a lot of effort and attention on finishing the last rep of the set successfully, as we should, but then when it comes to setting the bar back in the rack, we sometimes do it carelessly, which increases the chances of something bad happening. The potential risk here is that you might miss the hooks without knowing, and the bar will start to slide rapidly down your back, which might put your back into side flexion, and that's definitely not a position you want to be in under a load, even with lighter weights. You might also not even get to the hooks because of some of the mistakes we are going to cover today. The key things that should guide you when you think about racking the bar safely are: 1. You should not lose control over the bar or let it gain momentum that you can't control on the way back to the rack. And 2. You shouldn't get loose under the bar or not maintain the secure tight position of your body under the bar before it sits securely on the hooks inside the rack. So after you finish your set, you should step forward until the bar hits the vertical parts of the rack, also called the uprights, and then squat down until the bar is taken from you by the hooks of the rack. Sounds pretty easy and simple, but I've seen too many creative ways to do it incorrectly, so we'll go over the more common mistakes that you need to avoid. Don't aim the bar right into the hooks. If you aim the bar to the hooks, a time will come when you inevitably miss one side and the bar will start to slide down that side. The uprights, on the other hand, you cannot miss. They didn't go anywhere, so you don't need to look for them. You just step forward until you hit them with the bar, and then you are guaranteed to be above the hooks. A caveat for those of you who take a very wide grip: be sure to open your palms when you approach the uprights to not pinch your fingers when you rack the bar. Don't turn your neck sideways looking for the uprights or the hooks. They are still there, as we said before. Just look straight ahead and step forward without turning your neck at all. I actually prefer that you never turn your neck to the side when you carry a loaded barbell on your back or in your hands while your entire body is tight, so you don't pull a muscle. Don't bend over at the hip or lean forward to touch the uprights from afar. If you start to lean forward when there is a heavy weight on your back, you begin to lose control over the bar as it gains momentum in that compromised position. Instead, just step forward a bit more to touch the uprights. Don't just touch the uprights with the bar and then start squatting down to the hooks, but rather touch the uprights and then, while you keep the bar in full contact with the uprights, squat down while the bar slides down the hooks. I see too many lifters who touch the uprights and then squat down with the trajectory of the bar angled away from the uprights, almost missing the hooks entirely. You should also note that some weightlifting barbells are whippier than others, and at heavier weights, when you hit the uprights with the bar, it recoils a bit, so we need to let it settle against the uprights for a second before starting to squat it down to the hooks. Don't bend your knees on the way back to the rack before touching the uprights. If you start to bend your knees as you approach the uprights, you might hit the hook itself from the side or even go under the hooks. So step forward to the uprights when you are tall and upright. Don't let go of the bar before you are sure that the hooks have taken the bar from you safely. I sometimes see lifters who just drop a heavy barbell on the hooks so carelessly that it's scary to watch. The bar sometimes recoils and rattles a bit inside the hooks, almost jumping back out. Just take another half a second and make sure it sits securely inside the hooks before you let go of it. Don't start to move towards the rack to set the bar back in the rack before you've finished your last rep completely. This is a common mistake I see too often, unfortunately, where people rush into the rack before they even finish squatting up all the way. The error here is more related to the execution of the set as opposed to the racking of the bar. The last rep of the set, even of a long, grueling set, should be finished correctly at the top, all the way up there. Then you should freeze your position for half a second to make sure you're stable, and only then you start to step forward to rack the bar. Starting to head back to the rack before you finish your last rep completely usually leads to all kinds of trouble. And for our last common mistake, here is a general rule to remember. The bar is completely on your back until it's not. It means that the entire load of the bar is on your back and under your accountability on the way back to the rack in the same way it was during the set. You must stay completely tight, shoulder blades retracted together hard, proud chest, and maintain your position. Nothing is over when you finish the last rep. The set is over only when the bar is back on the hooks safely. You should theoretically be able to freeze completely in every moment during the way back to the rack and still be in full control of the bar. If you're just starting out and want to learn how to improve your form under the bar, or if you are ready for your next level in your training, go ahead and check out the Be Stronger website. Thanks for watching.